Pamela Vasquez asked, what about your business? Did you have figured out and set up before you took on your first student? What did you wish you had done before starting? And I know, Joanne, you were so excited about this question that you went in personally and answered it in the group as well.
Well, I was one of those people that, like, I wanted to have all of my resources ready to go before I taught, because I was like, well, what am I going to use to teach these kids with, right? Like, I was so clueless as to what resources were available at my fingertips because I didn't really know. I had been so used to teaching in the classroom that I really didn't think about online resources that would guide me and help me be able to do what I needed to do. And so I was still thinking very old school. And so I was like, well, I've got all these books on my shelf, right? So I could turn them into like PowerPoint books. So I actually copied like all the different pages of my books. Each one was a different slide on a PowerPoint that I would be able to share with my students so that they could read the books that I had. It was a lot of work. I made 300 of these. Okay, this is how much time I spent doing this. I'm not kidding you. And then all of a sudden one day someone said to me, so Joanne, what are you doing to advertise your business? And I was like, I'm still getting like all the resources ready together. Like, I haven't started advertising my business. And then all of a sudden I realized, like, wait a minute, why am I not advertising my business? Right? I really didn't have a good reason other than I'm still getting these resources together. That's why, right? Here's the thing. When you start getting students, I feel like you're going to figure out what the resources are pretty quickly. So if you spend more time right now trying to get those students versus trying to figure everything out about your business, it's going to be put into place. Every single tutor that says, what do you wish that you would have done differently, always says this: I wish I would have started Jumpstart sooner. Because what we do is we go through every single element that you're going to need to know in order to run your business. So we go over, like, how do you take the payments? What system do you use? You know, do you do invoices? Do you do, auto pay? All those kinds of things we build on into it. And we talk about how to organize your business. We talk about how to get your students. And we talk about the mindset that goes on. A lot of us, like, forget that a lot of us kind of taught in the school system or we tutored in person, but now when we move on into this having our own business, it is a very different mindset. And so, I'm not getting paid for all of my time anymore that I'm putting into my business, right? I might be putting in a lot more time in the beginning than I will at the end. And so this is something that actually kind of deters people, and they start thinking, oh my gosh, like, maybe I should just go back to the school system, or I should do these kinds of things, right? Because in the beginning, sometimes it takes a little bit more time to get it up and going and started and getting referrals and getting new students and all of that great stuff. So I think, and some other people offered some really great advice on things that were really important to them as well. I know one of the things I wish somebody would have told me right out of the gate, so I would have skipped this mistake, is that in the United States, we have to pay quarterly taxes.
Yes.
That would have been really awesome to know ahead of time. And you know what? The government doesn't care whether you know if something exists or not. In fact, what they do is they will tax you on the money that you didn't pay them. So they make you pay even more. So that's something that I wish I would have known. Definitely go through in your very first year. I tell people, go through a CPA. Have somebody do your taxes for you, because they're going to see so many other things that you can make sure that you're taking into account, so you can take the advantages that are afforded to you. You will have to pay more taxes because you have to pay the self-employed tax as well. And, this is something that when you're in a school system, the school pays that. They pay your employment tax, but it's something that you have to pay on your own. So it kind of makes it feel like you're paying double taxes. So you want to take every single advantage that you possibly can that the government gives you. Or some of the other advice, because I know I threw in some of those other tips that other people gave because they were so good too.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Tools like good internet connection, computer or tablet, and a smile. And I love that this person added in and a smile. I absolutely love that. That really should be part of the whole thing. I mean, if you're not enjoying what you do, then then why do it? So I love it.
But yeah, a good internet connection is important. So here's something that a lot of people don't realize. Like when you are traveling, let's say you're traveling, right? And you're not really expecting any hiccups. If you're driving and tutoring at the same time, like not you driving, that would be crazy. So somebody else is driving, you're in the passenger seat tutoring. I do this all the time, actually. There are going to be some spots on the road that aren't going to pick up your phone signal if you're using your phone like as your hotspot, and you'll glitch out. So sometimes it'll be a little glitchy if you're driving. The one thing that I always make sure is I make sure that my internet connection is good before I start the tutoring session. I do let my students know, hey, it might be a little bit glitchier today because I'm on the road. The other thing to make sure is if you're in a hotel, make sure they have a really strong Wi-Fi connection. Hotel connections can really stink. So a lot of times I find that I have to rely on my own phone versus relying on the hotel's connection. So good internet connection is absolutely necessary when you are tutoring. And the same thing on your students' side. If you don't have a good internet connection, take a look at your internet provider, see what you can do to improve it, because that is going to be the number one thing that is important to your clients, a good connection. So it's like, yeah, there are always these little things that you can do to fix and compensate whenever there are tech issues. So just stay flexible and open-minded. One time I had it where one of my clients couldn't hear me. No, they could hear me. I couldn't hear them. Clearly, I need to hear them. So what we did is they could still see me. They just had no, we tried the like leave Zoom, come back in thing, right? That didn't work. So what we did is I had them call me. So here it was. We still had the session as if nothing happened, right? Like we just did the voice part through the phone and we did the screen sharing online. So just stay open-minded to different ways to fix any tech that you have, because at any time, like there can be some tech issues, but you'll get really comfortable with if a tech issue happens, what can you try? And I think it's so fun actually when it happens and you come across something that works. You're like, oh yay, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and I mean, what a great workaround to use the phone. That's amazing. I love it. David says the main one is some ideas on how you will announce your availability. That you need a few things in place to start, but not everything. And I think that echoes perfectly what you were saying, Joanne, how you needed, the thing that you needed the most was the way to advertise yourself, to let people know that you were out there and available to take students. And that you didn't need necessarily everything else that you thought you needed. So
yeah, we overthink things in the beginning, don't we? We really do.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Because you're going to figure it out. Like the first thing I had to figure out for myself, because I'm a reading tutor, is how am I going to assess them? Like what assessment am I going to use? And I didn't figure it out on my first student. I tried some different things. I tried different assessments to see what was going to be the best fit, to see how will I get the information I need to be able to teach the students that I'm going to be working with. So, over time, I ended up developing a great strategy for doing the assessments. And then I ended up creating my own dyslexia screener so that I could find out, like, is dyslexia part of the problem here? And those things I developed over time. And so don't be afraid to try things and improve them over time, because that's just what's going to make you better, because you're going to realize, wait, this didn't work so good. Let me try something else. Or, I like this part of this, but I didn't like this part of this. Let me try that on out.